Tears are a language. Ito ang pinaka-title ng ating topic today. And I want to read a passage from Psalms chapter 56 verse 8. Thou tellest my wanderings, put thou my tears into thy bottle. Are they not in the book? So here you can have, I know you have read and reread the story of Joseph in Genesis, and we can see here that um, yeah, I can say Joseph is one of my favorite characters in the Bible. And here we are going to start with the story from the start, in which Jacob was presented with the coats of many colors which had given to Jacob, full of blood. And we can see here the evidence of his beloved son's death. And the symbol of Jacob's love for his favored son, Joseph, became the symbol of um, what he thought to be a gory death to the rapacity of the beast. No wonder he mourned for many days. In Genesis 37, verse 34 and 35. When Joseph saw his brothers came from Canaan to buy provisions in Egypt, because of the great famine that come into the place, he turned from them and wept. And as he come back after weeping in his chamber, it was said that he communed with them, he talked to them. And in Genesis 42 verse 24, the thought of revenge was far from his heart, because he saw his poor brothers buying some grains to feed their hungry families. So when his brother came again and brought Benjamin, his brother um, by his mother Rachel, Joseph made haste, and again he cannot control the tears from his eyes, and because he has yearned for his brother Benjamin for so long a time, and he wept, and again faced his brothers when he saw Benjamin still alive and not yet um, killed by his brothers, who were jealous of him before. And he could not refrain his eyes. And the moment of truth was told later, and he presented himself to be Joseph. We can imagine how that place was filled with tears when, hugging from one brother to another, Joseph wept and cried for aloud, that even though he was able to let the Egyptian slaves come out of the palace where he was staying, they can still hear the voice of weeping and crying, in intense weeping in the palace, which was accompanied by great revelation about Joseph, revelation to his brothers. The emotions of unspeakable surprise, maybe, the guilt feelings, the unbounded joy suddenly released the pent up fountain of tears, which had dammed up by years of secrecy and bitter sweet weeping, re-echoed through the halls of the palace of the Prime Minister of Egypt. Here we can see also the, the time when Jacob and when Benjamin and Joseph hug each other upon their necks, when um, when Benjamin know that his brother was alive. Genesis 45:14 says, he wept Benjamin wept upon his neck. So that was joy of tears that they have had encountered during that time. All those tears of loving forgiveness for his brothers who wish him nothing but his death. And instead of not succeeding of killing him, he was able to be sold as a slave. And slave's fate was a tantamount to a living death during that time. So now comes the meeting between the father and the son, Joseph and Jacob, later when they met in Goshen, which was prepared by Joseph to be the dwelling place of his brothers. And we can see in Genesis 46:29, he fell upon his neck and wept on his neck for a long while. And emotions must have been surged by at the breast of his father and son as they embrace each other, and after long years of bitter separation. So when Jacob died, because he was the father of a prime minister or the governor of Egypt, he was given a stately funeral. But then, because Jacob had told Joseph that he wanted to be buried not in Egypt but in a place that is near Canaan, or within the boundary of Canaan. So he was given a stately funeral and was buried in threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond Jordan. So after the burial of their father, Joseph's brothers were again in intense worry, because they're thinking that Joseph might be uh, having a revenge on them for what they have done. But then Joseph said to his brothers, when he spake to them, they need not fear anything, for he had forgiven them a long time ago. So here indeed throughout the whole narrative we see abundant of proof that the heart of Joseph appears to be particularly susceptible to tender emotions. So how many times he have wept for the fate that has been um, experienced by him, from the slave, from Potiphar to the prison, and up to the when he was brought into the king and was made governor of Egypt. So we have here, he was really a type of him whom the Bible says Jesus wept in John 11:35. So to end with this, I want to read the passage from the Bible found in Psalms chapter 30 verse 5. Chase here, for his anger endureth but a moment, and in his favor is life. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. So thank you for watching, and God bless.